There we are.
There I am.
Hey, everybody. Hey,
Hey,
Pookie. Hey, Chris.
hey everyone. Hey Chris. Hey Pookie. Hey Small Town.
Listen, I'm like a huge fan of my avatar. I don't know about you.
I like mine too. It's a black and white creepiness. I'm kind of digging it.
I
You
know,
did
I'm
good.
digging. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I think I did very well.
You have to send me that. I gotta need that.
What?
Your avatar.
Oh, mine? Okay.
I'm working on a new intro or a longer intro, a better reworked intro.
Okay. I'll definitely send it to you. Okay. So tonight's topic is paranormal tools to have during investigation, right?
Yup, yup.
Okay. So I'm going to start off by talking about some of the things that I'm familiar with personally, like um, Ouijas and seances, psychics, tarot, EVP, and so forth. I'll list some other stuff later. Um, and if
And I,
anybody has any questions, please just post them in the chat.
yeah, we'll answer questions. I'm gonna cover some more stuff like EVPs and a special new method called the Estes method, which is not very well used, but something I have practiced several times, and it's something it's kind of provided good information for me. And then I also will talk about how I can speak through spirit boxes and stuff like that myself, and how I use my programs to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Okay, so I oh, Small Town's here. I don't see Small Town.
She was up there earlier.
Okay. All right. So I will start with Ouija. So we all know what Ouija board is, right? So we know Ouija started out being who the frig is calling me? So, okay, we know what a Ouija board is. Ouija started out as a board game, right? But everybody now knows Ouija boards are a portal slash doorways to the other side. Some say they're not to be taken lightly, right? So you've always heard to never use Ouijas by yourself, right?
Personally, I have used Ouija boards by myself, and I've had an experience with a dark entity. We all know Zozo or 0808.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I've had a lot of interesting interactions with him, and that's kind of why I don't touch the Ouija board too much.
I mean, I've used it by myself and I haven't had any problems with it personally, but I think it's just like um to each their own, right? Like if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. I
I mean,
think.
I practice it. I'm not scared of it. It's just something I tend not to do alone anymore. Because it can get pretty dangerous. I mean, I don't frequent bloody noses, but definitely using the Ouija board and getting those kind of names coming out is oh god.
Yeah. Oh, hang on one second. I'll be right back. Can you entertain real quick?
I can entertain the best as possible. So yeah, Ouija board is like I said. I've done it in group sessions as well. More, I can't ever say that was real because it was more kids, but by myself, I have done it and I've gotten some interesting responses. I use a couple other methods. I'm going to be talking about the Estes method tonight. So the Estes method, I don't know how much you guys know about that, but it was founded. Oh god, I got my information here in my notes. Estes Park, Colorado, the infamous Stanley Hotel. Everyone knows the famous Stanley Hotel from The Shining. Great movie. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. Hopefully, you're a horror buff. Um, so yeah, I'm getting text messages too. This is weird. Anyway, so definite horror buff. Watch that movie. Definitely worth it. Anyway, so that Stanley Hotel, a group of 3 to 4 guys who were doing a docu series went there in 2016, and they were called. It was the Hellier docu series by and Colin Randall, Michael Tate. They were brainstorming a new method, and this is something they came up with.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, hey, hey! I behave. I behave.
Sorry, y'all. It was my toddler's grandma was calling to talk to her. Okay, but okay, so Ouija, right? We left off on Ouija. Um,
Now, can you entertain for a minute? I'll be right back as well.
Yes, of course.
A life gets in the way. I love it.
Okay, so Ouija is a way in which we use a board to contact the other side. Sometimes there are good spirits and sometimes there are negative. Ouija boards are pretty popular and some use them as like party favors, party tricks, right? So I can tell you a little bit of my experiences from Ouija boards. I've had positive, nothing negative or bad has ever happened when I have personally used Ouija boards. But I mean, I think it depends on how serious the person is and the experience that they have. But Ouija boards are definitely something that can be used during paranormal investigations. I would say Ouija is probably I would say if you're going to use them during an investigation, I would want somebody that's experienced in doing it. I wouldn't want somebody that's just, oh, that doesn't have a lot of experience with it. Thanks, Pookie. Thanks. And then I have psychics, right? Psychics is our favorite things to use, is one of my favorite things to use so far, because I'm personally kind of a psychic myself. Back in 2021, I was going to LA and I almost stayed there. I never knew about it, and it was called Stay on Main. Yes, that's where this isn't that where the Cecil Hotel is? Isn't that where the Cecil Hotel is? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But psychics, right? A lot of people use psychics on their paranormal investigations. Some like never not have a psychic on their investigations. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with shows like Kindred Spirits or Psychic Kids, and I'm pretty sure you guys are known with Ghost Hunters. So, and if you've noticed, they've also used psychics during a lot of their private investigations. Most of the time, psychics pick up on residual energy. They can hear and feel the spirits and can sometimes pick up speech patterns, habits, what can't even remember. Oh, habits and can pick up on just certain personal traits sometimes.
Sorry about that, y'all. I hope everything. What I miss?
You're good. You're good. I'm just talking about psychics now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking about psychics. Well, because you know how even on Ghost Hunters, right? They've brought in psychics for paranormal investigations, and one that has been brought in, I know is Chip Coffee.
Oh, psychics I haven't really touched too much into myself. That stuff really interests me.
Yeah. So, and one of my favorite shows that I'm really kind of binge watching is Kindred Spirits, and Chip Coffee sometimes comes in on the investigations with Amy and Adam. And I really like that show. So yes, I like watching him too. I really like watching him.
Do you have any personal experience with that you would like to share with the rest?
Do I have personal experience?
With any psychic abilities or know a psychic or anything?
I know psychics, yes. Do I personally have experience with it on PIs? No. I've never personally done anything on PIs. I mean, except for when I'm here, I can sense things myself, but I've never went out and done an investigation with my abilities.
So you're kind of like me. You're sensitive to spiritual energy.
Right. Exactly.
So, because I do EVP sessions and I can feel energy when I'm in one of my sessions, and I kind of see visions, but I can't clearly put out what I see. So I don't ever consider myself a psychic, but I do see visions. And I don't know if
that makes you a psychic. Yes, it does. It does.
I think I can see things into the other side a little bit, but I need to work on my abilities. And that's something that I'm willing to work on.
Yeah, I definitely think that makes you a psychic. I mean, come on.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
I think we all have the ability too, by the way.
Yeah, everybody has the ability 100%. It's just a matter that a lot of people aren't ready to open themselves up for it, and they're a little scared. So that's why I think a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people probably think that they don't, but they do, because they're just scared and they don't want to open up for it. You just have to be open for it if you want to do it. Two of our most favorites, slash psychic people, right, is Ed and Lorraine, right? We just love some Ed and
I
Lorraine,
love my
Warren.
Ed and Lorraine. Oh, my
Love Ed
favorite.
and Lorraine, like the Annabelle movies, The Conjuring, like all that stuff, right? So Ed's the demonologist, right?
Ed's profession was as a demonologist. Yes.
Okay, and she was the medium clairvoyant.
Yes.
And together they had 60 years of investigating experience. 60 years. That's crazy. That's like one hell of a duo.
I do think they always were able to do a lot of good investigations. I mean, they have the Ed and Lorraine Museum. I really want to go. That's on my bucket list. Go check out that place, and because
For
I really
sure.
want to see the Annabelle doll and respect her. I mean, I always tempt, but I won't cross a certain line, especially in person. But
Are you talking about the Zach Baggins one?
no, the Ed and Lorraine Museum.
Where's that one at?
Ed and Lorraine's old house in oh god, let me look at. I gotta look. I don't know where it's at offhand. I gotta look it up. Ed and Lorraine Museum. The Museum of the Warrens is in Monroe, Connecticut.
Oh, damn.
And
That's New
their
England.
son, yeah, currently own it.
Okay.
So their living relative currently owns it and operates it. They recently just revamped the Annabelle case, the case that she is housed.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was pretty cool how they moved her. Definitely with a lot of holy water and gloves, if you will.
Yeah.
But it was that'd be on my bucket list. There'd be a lot of things there I want to see because they've seen a lot of things that you don't even hear about in mainstream news. They've helped a lot of people, with personal possessions or connections. They've done a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it's also like really scary stuff because psychics and demonologists deal with attachments, right?
I mean, I don't necessarily like to be attached, don't get me wrong, but I like the thought of an investigating attachments. That's something I like to do. I'm one with seeing what happens, to an extent, of course, as
Mm-hmm.
protections. I don't let no physical harm happen to me or anyone. I make that very clear. But I do like toying with and playing with possessions and stuff like that.
See, he is the risk taker out of the two of us. Okay? Just so y'all know, he's the risk taker. Let's see. Oh, I have a bookmark apparently I need to refer
Daredevil is more like what I call it. Daredevil.
Okay, let's see. Oh, the Amityville case? Did they take part in the Amityville case? I don't remember.
Yeah. I believe so. I mean, it sounds like it. The Amityville, yeah.
I couldn't remember if they did or not.
Yeah, they did.
And
It's part of The Conjuring 2. That's right. Conjuring 2 is based on that.
The Conjuring 2 is?
Yeah.
Huh.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
According to the good old Google here. I just want to double check my facts, but that's what Google said.
Okay. I believe you.
And that's something I do when it comes to paranormal investigations. I will double check my facts before I say definite. But there is a connection with Ed and Lorraine Warren and Amityville. Definitely with The Conjuring 2 being based on that. I haven't seen it in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen the second one in a long time, so I'll probably have to watch it.
I don't watch much movies anymore.
Well, you can watch them with me. It's okay. Okay, so
I just don't watch movies. Go ahead.
Okay, then the last thing so tarot. Not a lot of people use tarot for paranormal investigations, but some do. It just depends on what people like to do, right? Like some people will just do mainly tarot or mainly oracle cards or something. So, and everybody knows that I do tarot and oracle, but I have not used them in PI. So that's something totally different. Hang on, let me go to my bookmarks. Okay, so for those that don't know what tarot is a symbolic map of consciousness that encompasses our journey through life, both spiritually and practically. So there are 22 cards in the major arcana if you're using tarot, which divulge greater secrets, and 56 cards of the minor arcana, which divulge lesser secrets and are further divided into 4 suits. The suits of the minor include the wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. The 14 cards in each suit, because remember you got the 1 through 10, right, which is the ace to the 10. Then you have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So that's the 14. Each suit represents an element. Wands is fire, swords is air, cups is water, pentacles is earth. The suits can also reflect attitude and temperament, such as a fiery person or as someone who's up in the air or down to earth. Determining the card's significance is dependent upon the question, the reader, and the person. So a lot of tarot and its meaning comes from intuition. And we all know what intuition is. I personally, I don't know if I would use, I don't think I would use tarot for investigation, but I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with it.
You could, I mean, if you get a strong enough connection with the spirit, and the one thing I'm going to cover about in my section is nothing is too far from strange, because any good discovery may have a strange beginning. So it may sound strange, but you might have something there. You don't know until you try it. It's called experimenting with something that we don't have a lot of experiments on, or experience with as humans. So I'm willing to always give that a shot, because it is possible that spirits can use other ways to communicate between us and the living realm. No one can say that they can't, because there's not been proof to debunk it. And if I can debunk it, I'm going to. But in my opinion, I've never seen it not debunked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, of course, I would always have like a tarot deck or oracle deck. So yeah, I guess it would just depend on like what you're feeling at that time. If you feel like you need to just do like a quick read or something like that, or get a quick feel for the room or something.
I mean, if you use your psychic abilities, or your abilities like mine, and able to tap into that realm and get that sense of maybe that way they can want to communicate, give it a shot. Definitely always worth it. It's definitely worth a shot. Definitely explain more into that later.
Okay, and then we got, okay, so I wanted to just talk about I just want to list some more tools. I don't want to talk about them just yet. But there's also EVPs, which are digital voice recorders, which are hugely used all the time. Cameras. We have K2 detectors, spirit boxes, and EMF readers. Am I missing anything else?
Well, I mean, kind of, because I do only shout out really one specific and really hard to obtain, because they don't make them anymore, brand of recorders, is the Panasonic.
The Panasonic, yeah, the Panasonic.
DR960 or 960, I think it is. It was discontinued because it got too many background noises in recordings, and there was no background there. So, I mean, it's a real bummer that went out, but there are other ways, and especially using EVP microphones and recording devices, that you can still do it. You just got to turn the sensitivity on your microphone like super high.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I just knew that Panasonic was really good.
I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more technical detail of how you can, if you want to give it a shot and want to experiment yourself at home, what apps to use and what things to do myself that I use and have personal experience with, and give you the best reviews of what I think.
Okay, so do you want me to talk about EVPs, or do you want to talk about EVPs?
No, you talk about EVPs. I'll go ahead and just talk about,
Okay. All right, so hang on. Let me bring up my bookmark real quick, and then I'll start talking about it, because I have notes too. Wait, do I? No. Yes, I have just whatever done. Okay, so EVPs, digital voice recorders. Disembodied voices usually occur at a frequency lower than normal. The lower normal than what our ears can detect, and this is where the sensitive EVP recorder comes in, right? Because um, the lower the frequency is what the EVPs pick up on. And you said it was the Panasonic one?
The DR960 or 9 something like that. But you know, and that's kind of because nowadays with the technology that we have as humans and how we have progressed into being able to like hear, not even catch it in real time, but record it and then listen to it slowed down and then in quiet points into the background noise and amplify the background noise and still hear things nowadays like a DR60 or whatever.
Well, you can. Well, they have apps out now too on pretty much everything. But I mean, I don't know how well
I'm going to
an
cover
app
a
would
couple.
work.
I'm going to
Okay.
cover a couple apps.
Okay. But yeah, there's apps where like you can even there's even Ouija apps. There's Ouija apps. There's like tarot apps. Like there's like pretty much apps for everything if you don't have access like straight on hand for something. So you'll always have a backup. But EVPs are pretty. I mean, EVPs are pretty important. And then, okay, that's it. That's all that I had on my end.
It was very informative. So, as far as I can expand a little bit more on EVPs. So, you can take your cell phone nowadays, record you in a, if you have a haunted house near you or an abandoned house, abandoned things. I'm an urbexer too. I don't know if anyone tackles in that. But I mean, really, to be a good paranormal investigator, sometimes you got to do some urbexing. So that's urban exploring. But going into haunted locations or places that are open and haunted, and just recording then surrounding area with your microphone on your phone, and then going home, downloading the audio. Making notes while you're recording. Hey, I kicked this chair, this noise, breeze, whatever happens. So in audio and editing that you made a noise or something, but you can segment out certain word segments, whispers. That's a kind of a small way of doing some EVP sessions yourself. But then there's apps out there like Necrophonic. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of that app, but a bunch of YouTube creators use that Necrophonic out there. And then there's also the Spirit Box or Miracle Box app by my good friend why can't I think of his name? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I hate when I do this. Huff Paranormal. That's a good one. That is a good recorder because it does have a sensitive microphone. You'll believe it. The cheaper ones are the better ones. The DR960 you can't get anymore. They're like around like $2,000 a piece. So good luck getting your hands on that on eBay. So there's apps like that or systems like that, and then you can use speakers hooked up to Bluetooth. I don't necessarily like Bluetooth. I usually use hardwire. I don't like putting other waves in the air. It gives it a streamlined connection, giving the spirit one device to manipulate and create voice and speech. So one of the devices I use is Necrophonic, and that if you use Necrophonic or any type of spirit box where it scans and sweeps the radio waves at a very, very fast frequency, rate, you'll pick up like words like the. There's that method, or there's also playing like audio in reverse and using that playing constant audio, and you'll get things like that with white noise. I've used several methods.
I like Necrophonic too. I use that.
And Necrophonic's one I use that I'm going to lead into with my Estes method. I don't know if so. Now you get into this other method because you got to use a form of EVP to communicate. You can't use something that you got to record and play back. You want to get something live. So that group of people I talked about earlier, they were trying to find a way to communicate with spirits, and the best way to do it. Hold on, I got to get back to my article. I lost my article because I looked up that conjuring. So In 2016, Kyle Pfeffer, I can't pronounce his name, part of the 2019 Hellier docu-series, Connor Randall and Michelle Tate, were brainstorming a new way to make contact into what became the known as the Estes method. It's a simple concept. So what you do is you take two people. There's a solo way to do it as well. Um, but I'll get into that some other time. I haven't really tried that one myself. But the tandem method is where one person with noise canceling headphones or some way to cancel out outside interference, and then they're blindfolded, and in that headphone it's playing necrophonic. And then the other person who's not blindfolded or secluded from elements asks questions. So the person that's blindfolded and has earmuffs on, pretty much we'll call them that, like noise canceling headphones, can't hear or see, so they're deprived of sight and hearing. You're causing deprivation and sensory deprivation. So that's going to make someone connect deeper just by habit. I tend to do crazier things where I'll open up portals in between me, like a mirror. I saw this method. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to say I've done it, but I'm crazy enough to like a mirror in front of me and a mirror behind me with a single light in a dark room by myself, looking at that mirror and just hearing the necrophonic app or some kind of EVP app to really hear what the spirits have to tell me. So again, Estes method, they came up on the basic concept of, it's a weird idea. Let's take one thing and combine it with another and see what we get. So I like to experiment and try things like that. So like when Trisha here was talking about using tarot cards to communicate, not knowing if that would be a good method, who knows until I try it, or until it's tried and true. You know, you can't be scared. That there's a good example of the Estes method. So completely blindfolded, so no outside interference. You're not hearing the questions, and the responses you can get are relevant, and it's proven relevant. I recommend to look it up and see your proof, because I've seen a lot of evidence proving that the Estes method is great. I don't know if you guys have heard of YouTube channel Sam and Colby. Go check them out. They're a bunch of cool guys who just sit there and do the Estes method. They got attachments. They got some cool, witty ways of doing things. Stuff like that.
Yeah, those two are really good.
Those two are some of my personal favorite. I always recommend throwing out another recommendation out there just so everyone can understand how everyone can experience the paranormal differently, depending on your level of connection, depending on your attachments, the situation you're in, a lot of things. I also watch Live Sci-Fi. I mean, it's another great show if you ever want to kind of get into any paranormal, like if it's long, like if you want to be on a live stream for 7-8 hours watching a live camera feed, and you don't have to watch it the whole time, sit there for a couple hours or whatever, an hour. I do crazy things when it comes to spirits are fun.
Well, what I like about the Estes method is like you said, like there's noise cancellation, so you can't hear anything, you can't see anything, so you're fully relying, right, on being able to hear from the spirit box. And then the questions you get from the other person, it's just so cool how it lines up with what you're getting from the spirit box. And it's just so cool how it just works out that way, because we've done it personally. We
have, and
it works. It works, like literally it works. And we've done it, and like literally not even in the same house, right? Not even in the same house, and it still worked out perfectly with just doing it online too.
Spirits can use energy. That's what they do. They manipulate energy, and the internet is a form of energy. It's plugged in, it's got charging, it's got a charge, it's power. It can manipulate that energy. Like I've gone on a paranormal investigation at my local old insane asylum up here. It was the old abandoned hospital, the first hospital when I live in a mining town, so it was the first hospital for the mine. And I did go in there. I don't break my way in there. If there's an opening, I go in there. And they were able to manipulate the battery power on my lights and certain objects around me. I've personally experienced that. So, you know, I've never experienced like lights flickering or anything like that, but you know, that stuff kind of happens. So the Estes method, it really, again, back to the Estes method. I haven't done it too many times. This is something new to me that me and her pretty much the first time I did it was with her because she is someone who's more willing to try it with me. It's really hard to do it solo, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, you got to have like a partner.
Well, there is a way to do it solo I was reading about, but it just seems difficult to me, and it doesn't seem legit because there is an interference. Your own mind is going to play a factor on that at that point. You try to remove all kind of ways of debunking it. That's how you prove it.
Oh, and if you haven't seen anyone do a spirit box session, Glenn has one on his channel actually, where he did a huge spirit session.
Thank you. I forgot I did that one way back when. Yeah, because I do have some.
Here, I'll link his channel.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I did a spirit box sessions because I can do those. Though I've done hundreds of those. So what I do, you know, I also record my live spirit box sessions and then re-listen to them slowed down and like enhanced. When I say enhanced, I hear I like slow it down and clean up the background noise and try to get a clear audio wave. I have a couple programs on my computer that can splice down the audio wave and kind of hear the background. It's pretty nice. But technology is a big part of being able to do spirits and stuff like that, you know. So, but as well as they can interfere too. So you try to remove them to interfere. That's why I do it after the fact with like big computers and stuff like that. But the Estes method, then they have I forget the name of it. Oh god, there's a camera they use. It's it can map out spirits that aren't there.
Oh, the SLS?
The SLS camera. Thank you, God.
You're welcome. See, I did my research.
See, the SLS camera it picks up motion. So if like you standing in front of the SLS camera, it's going to pick up your wireframe body of you like waving your hand or doing a jig or whatever. But what's weird about this camera, because it's not designed for what it's being used for. It was made by Microsoft as Xbox Connects. Nerds. Anyway, so if you run it through a camera and watch a live feed of it, it will, and you're just scanning in areas, it can pick up motion. It'll pick up a figure, and it'll pick up either small. I've seen large figures, small figures. That's another technique I have used and do use. It's pretty easy. You just get an old Xbox Connects and hook it up to your Windows computer.
You can link Sam and Colby in here, Chris.
Absolutely. Anyone
you can link
wants
their channel.
Link anyone we mention, of course. Like there's also what's that? I can't ever pronounce his name. The Mexisi or
Mexi's yeah, Mexi's really good as well.
I've seen him.
He does a lot of spirit box sessions, but he also involves K2 meters. He has motion sensors. What else does he use? He uses a whole bunch of things when he does his sessions.
Right. So there's a lot of actual tools you can go buy at the Dollar Tree yourself. Like, you know, the cat toys, the little cat balls. You can buy like 4 or 5 of them that are motion sensitive. So like, you know, when a cat bats it, the light lights up. You set it in a room. Obviously, if you don't stand next to it or touch it, it's not going to go off, right? Well, I've seen with Sam and Colby's experiments that they work. So there's a lot of techniques and devices that people can use out there to prove it. A quick $1 flashlight from the Dollar Tree that's touch sensitive. Boom. There's another, you know, there's many ways.
I'm grabbing a drink. I'll be right back.
Oh, good. Great. Leave me alone with who's going to babysit me this time? No. Anyway, yeah, so I've used lots of methods myself. I use you can download it up on the Play Store, and I'll open it up real quick because I got it on my phone here. It's just a tap away. So what you do? I usually run it on echo and reverb because it works better when you have the headphones on. You can adjust the sweep rate. Usually I keep it about midway. It just said perfect. So, I mean, there's that kind of app. And when you're, like I said, with noise canceling headphones on and sensory deprived, you really can hone into certain senses, hearing, smell, touch. Because if no one's around you, you're sensory deprived. Being pulled out of those sessions is scary sometimes. Like, you're not expecting it. And when I've been in the Estes session, I get really zoned in. It's almost addicting since the first time I did it.
Well, you kind of have to be zoned in because you have to focus.
Well, it's all about concentration and focusing on that. I just showed him a little bit of necrophonic. I ran it a little bit for a second.
Oh, so don't forget about the miracle box too.
Well, I was going to talk about the miracle box too, but so that's Huff Paranormal. You can look him up on YouTube. I'm sure we've already dropped his link. If we haven't, we should.
Yeah, I'll drop it now.
Huff Paranormal does makes at home communication devices with crystals and gold and copper and energy sources, and he uses like a I don't know if anyone knows music, but like musicians have pedals that can change the sound or volume level of certain guitars and things like that. So you use one of those to allow in that channel. Well, he created an app. He also helped make Necrophonic. So they're they're co-op guys. Anyway, so another app, it's called the Miracle Box. Let me pop that guy up and give you a little quick one-on-one with that one. And when I actually do a session, I'll throw it up on my screen. But tonight I don't have.
You can show a video of it if you want to, and I'll just share it.
No. I have to set up for that. So the Miracle Box. What it comes up with is you get a bank select of words. So you could choose from like male, British, child, male, elderly. We'll go male, elderly is what I'm getting. So I like to run like 25% amount and like almost half dry wet. But then when you run that and a reverb, if you run it open all the time, you get nothing but reversed words. It makes no sense. So turn it down real quick. If I turn it down, you get nothing, and nothing comes out. So the way this works is you get into a session and you open and speak to a spirit and ask if there's any spirits with us right now. No, I didn't really hear anything. If there was a spirit that came through that I didn't hear, I want to thank you for coming through tonight. Do you have anything you want to say? So sometimes with this app, it's another good one to run in reverse and slow down the speech because it does come out fast and you'll actually hear something. Because I didn't hear anything in those two, but it doesn't mean there wasn't. So that's kind of how I like to run things. Yeah, it's kind of. So yeah, that's what you see. You get that female child, and then you can choose all how the word bank you feel that fits, and you just kind of go with the feeling of how long to open it and how long to close it, because the spirits can manipulate your energy. That's why I say you get in a session. I'm not in a session. I didn't do any kind of asking anyone to come out tonight, so I didn't probably get anything. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not opening myself tonight for spirit communication. I'm more opening myself to communicate, to tell you guys how I use spirit communication. So there's apps like those two are my two tried and true apps. Debunkable, undebunkable. So yeah, that's kind of what
Hi,
Well, nice.
Sandy. I
I'm
like
cute.
your little emoji.
Oh, it's cute.
Did you see the little emoji?
Yeah, ghosts are scary. So that's also why I also wanted to get in touch on, like, when I said I like to consider myself a demonologist like Ed, because I do like listening and understanding the darker side of the spirits. Like, I do respect it. They're there. We can't deny it. So I want to study it and understand it. The fact that if you don't believe something doesn't mean it isn't true. Um, I've seen dark and I respect it, but I like to know more about it and be able to. Hi, small town Jewel. Um, nah, thanks for being here, small town.
Okay,
Anyway,
so why don't you explain exactly what a demonologist is?
I mean, I have to get to be honest, I'm gonna have to get the legit definition because I don't.
Well, I have it up. Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a difference between somebody who is actually like certified in demonology, right? That makes them a demonologist.
Right. I'm not certified. I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, so a demonologist, this is what it says on Google. Okay, so y'all take it as you will. Okay, demonology is the study of demons or beliefs about demons and the hierarchy of demons. They may be non-human, separable souls, or discament spirits, which have never inhabited a body. A sharp distinction is often drawn between these two classes, notably by, oh my God, the Melanesians, several African groups, and others. And we all know the most famous demonologist is Ed. He's like the perfect example. But would Lorraine also be considered a demonologist? Because it has her name in here too.
Yes, she was also a demonologist because what she studied, but I mean, she was a psychic too. So
Right. So
he
she was
wasn't
clairvoyant.
psychic. Clairvoyant, psychic is, I mean, in my definition, that's just a fancy term for psychic.
Right. A demonologist also reveals the grave religious process behind supernatural events and how it can happen to you. So not only do demonologists know about the negative, the demons and all that stuff, right? But you also know about the whole process of how to know when there's a bad spirit, know when to know what to say and know what to do to get rid of bad spirits and attachments and everything. Like you become very knowledgeable in this field.
And that's where Catholic churches and Catholic religion really does come into play, because a lot of the demons are from that era where Catholicism was a big religion, was the main religion. Christianity kind of spun off of Catholicism, if you guys aren't aware of that, or something like that. I'm not no religious studier, but I do know that you got to use a lot of Catholic prayer, Catholic processes to get rid of demons and spirits. That's what I practice in. I mean, I don't consider myself of any religion, but I do use peace, love, and light to really help guide my way as well. Love is a big thing to also give spirits. So it's really one thing hard to explain, because being loving, I love you. Yeah, we all love each other, but to give love as a light and just put love out there as an energy to think of beautiful things and happy things and just put that happiness out there in the universe is how I connect to my spirits. I really give them the energy of love and happiness and light. And that's also how I get my brighter spirits as well, I believe, that come through. Same thing as I get with darker spirits, because I'll ask my spirit guides to bring me certain spirits if they can. But that's what I do. I project love and light to all spirits I meet.
Mm-hmm. And Sandy has a question. What does it mean for someone to hang dolls and trees in their driveway? I personally,
That's voodoo.
well, not necessarily voodoo, because right, the type of magic lies in the heart of the witch, correct, and in the
This
heart
is where I
and in
don't.
the heart of the craft.
Right.
But personally, I feel like dolls being hung in trees, it's all about the intent and the purpose of what it's there for. It can mean a
Everything is God.
whole lot. Well, it can mean a whole lot of things, right? It's not just one specific thing that dolls from trees mean. There's so many different things behind that you can't really just put it on one
Now, are we?
specific meaning.
And it also, I mean, like, are they homemade stuffed dolls? It's just
Right,
creepy.
right.
Because I do know about there was one island was the Island of Dolls, and that place is haunted as shit. But they took like baby dolls and would tie them up. This one guy tied them up on trees, and that place is haunted. Um, but it just depends on the type of doll, in my opinion. Also, I mean, if it looks dark, it's a dark intent. If it looks peaceful and you get everything like she was saying, I'm gonna kind of expand on that. It's all behind the intent of the craft. I get a creepy vibe off that, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it's the vibe you get when you see the.
Agreed. If it looks creepy and gives you a creepy vibe, then it's probably creepy. Okay, there's usually a reason behind it being creepy.
When a lot of people have said, listen to your inner soul, it knows more than your outer. It does. You know, a human soul. This is where I kind of diverge from any religion. When a body dies, and I'm not going to bash any religion. Remember, I respect them all. But when a body dies, the soul leaves the body and can inhabit another soul, or it can stay in limbo, or it can be at peace. So there's a lot of, I mean, this is my personal feeling. We all don't know the truth, but that's how I believe it works. So from my experience, I know there are spirits that are in limbo, and I know that there are spirits that have lived on in other people. So, you know, I kind of sidetracked what I was going on there for a second, because I really got to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to run out real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll cover. Go ahead. Okay, so I know he was talking about SLS earlier, so I wanted to get some images so you guys can see what it would look like on the SLS camera. Hang on, let me save this picture real quick. It's not gonna work. Give me a good one. Because the SLS depicts like almost like stick figures, like an image of a spirit. So I'm going to bring that up and show you guys what it would pick up on a camera if there was a spirit close by. So let me bring that up real quick, because I definitely wanted to show you guys that. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Okay, right here. See how it looks like a stick figure, right? And then you have the actual person in red, because red is heat, and the living project off infrared heat. And the green represents like a cold, right? Green, blue is a cold. So right here is an actual spirit that an SLS camera picked up on. And this is specifically what an SLS camera does, is it will pick up on the energy around the spirit and put it into like a stick figure form. So you can see roughly the movements of it, right? Whereas you normally wouldn't be able to tell the movements of a spirit. So this is what an SLS camera does. And this is what it would look like on the images on the camera. I think that's pretty cool what we can do with technology now.
Technology really has advanced us. Sorry.
It's okay.
I really had to go. I didn't go before the live, and I should have. Pardon me.
Thank you for stopping in.
Thank you. So, I mean, there's a lot of interesting ways. So my plan with this channel and Trish's plan with this channel is to kind of cover the spiritual realm and do things with a community. I mean, like I said the other night, we did our Estes method. We should have recorded that.
We actually should have, yeah.
That would have been some great evidence, especially after what we learned recently from Sally.
Mm-hmm.
That was some really good evidence.
It was really helpful.
And got some great insight from her. She's a great medium or clairvoyant or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of names for the stuff we practice, because there's a lot of people that practice it. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm planning on doing with this. We're gonna kind of take it.
Well, we also kind of wanted to be informative, educational, maybe like for people that aren't sure if, you know, doing this is something they would want to do, maybe hopefully be, gather information, like, well, I see how they're doing it. Maybe we can do it, this way, or maybe try it how they're doing it. Maybe, just be informative at the same time as just, doing sessions that we would do.
We're gonna. I plan on doing group sessions with the community or the people who are here, like, because it is possible that I can communicate. I mean, the way that me and Trisha were communicating that night, there was a spirit in a different area that was communicating with me and her at the same time. It was.
Well, because Glenn's abilities are very different than mine. It's like when I post on my page how there's different how there's different abilities. I am a clairsentient, which means I can sense it, but I do not see or hear at the moment, right? Because you got to open yourself up to do more things. So right now I can just sense the other side. Glenn, however, can do more than just sense the other side. So if you go look at his spirit box session that he did, I linked it. It's pinned at the top of the page, at the top of the channel. He actually communicates with specific spirits of someone that was actually of a chatter that was in the channel that night, and it was one of her relatives. And he had no idea who that person, like no idea who the person in chat was. No idea.
So I mean, I don't like to say I can, but I mean, because I don't want to. I've never been able to be debunked myself or catch myself. So it's up to you guys to debunk me or prove me wrong, prove me right. I mean, I think I kind of can. I don't think I'm as good as Trisha puts me out to be. But
well, I'm always going to hype you up because you were right. Like if people go back and watch that whole video, like you were 100% spot on. So I mean, there's no argumenting when it's spot on. You have affirmations, right? You can't argue that.
I see what I see and I hear what I hear, and I just relate that to what's there. I can show you, and we will have to show you when we do our sessions. Like, definitely, we're gonna. If you download the app, they're not free apps, and so I'm dropping.
Well, some are free, but you're also talking about quality here, right? And you also talk about like the ads and all that stuff that you're going to be getting with things that come free for apps.
Right. So I really try to avoid the free stuff. I really do, because nothing free is going to be worth it. Because anything good is going to take time to build, and knowledge in the paranormal field. So
yeah, like if you're hard up and you absolutely have nothing on hand, then yeah, go free. But other than that, try not to.
But that's what I was saying. The free methods become in doing open EVP sessions with yourself, and kind of opening the air to open mic and just listening. And like I said, myself, before I do any session, I literally think loving thoughts and of love and light and just anything that's love related. And I love the spirits that come in. I feel the love. I send them loving fields, because that's what they want. They love the light. Love is the key. Love is the key. Flat out.
Love is key. Love is key. What else? What other images can I show and talk about?
I mean, really, you can show the an EMF reader. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. EMF.
So back to when I was talking about energy, spirits can manipulate energy sources to do their things. Make noise, make a sound, throw a rock, touch you on the back. It requires an energy. So there'll be what they call energy spikes around certain times when that happens. So in the EMF, you honestly can buy this for a job. It's finding electromagnetic fields. Electricians use them to make sure there's no interference with electronics or anything like that. So when you go into a room, you should get a baseline 0, if not like stable 1 or 2. It's just stable reading, depending on what you got around, what you got running electronic wise, because everything puts off an electromagnetic field. So if you get an increase in EMF, a spike, and then back down, or even a spike that's higher than normal that stays, and there's nothing that's interfering with, you know, you don't have a cell phone ring in or a cell phone in your pocket that's happens to be going off. So, you know, things like that. It, the EMF detector is a really nice tool to use. Um, I do have one. They're pretty cheap. You can go to Home Depot and pick one up. Um, doesn't really matter. I mean, they're like 20, $30 now. Um, and you can do it at home, sitting in your living room, you know, get your baseline. And then if you feel that twitch in the back of your ear or something, just run that. And there it is, EMF meter. Um, yeah. So if you get a spike in EMFs, I've seen them pinned in red. It's not nothing harmful necessarily. Obviously, spirits or energy is crazy. Um, yeah, that's kind of how that thing works.
You just gotta be careful. Like, see how it shows here about anything that's running off power, like TVs, computers, all that stuff. You just gotta be careful because they do affect an EMF reader. So when it does spike, you want to be sure that there's nothing like that around you.
Well, you can get a
To be sure.
baseline reading,
Yeah.
but yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
like a router nearby because that thing spikes constantly. TV spike constantly, computers spike, things like that spike constantly are going to throw you off. The more that's around, yes. But you'll get a baseline. Most things should baseline at like one or two in an empty room. And that's no TVs, no electronic devices. Because the Earth also has an EMF, electromagnetic field. And it runs around 1.5 to. So yeah, I mean, those are the kind of devices I use and have used myself. Um, has anyone in our community ever had any experience with any devices, or have any questions about any devices? I know a lot about a lot of devices. I just can't think of them off.
Well, is K2 the same thing as an EMF reader? Or is K2 different?
So the K2 meter, I think it's just a hyped up EMF reader. But if you're thinking about the same one I am, well, the K2 meter is just an EMF reader that actually, instead of that one's analog, a digital output of what the EMF field currently is. So I mean, it's just a fancier version of that. I mean, temperature. There's some out there that will give you temperature readings. You can market anything. Just change this or add this. So I mean, I keep it simple, stupid.
And also smudging, right? Smudging is also good for keeping negative energy away. It doesn't cleanse, it just keeps negative energy away. So smudging actually wouldn't be a bad thing to carry some sage or something, Palo Santo or something with you.
I don't. I never. I use incense. I use heavy smoke.
But yeah, see, he uses that, but I use I don't really use sage because the smoke from the sage um isn't, I don't know, it doesn't work with me well, so I use the Palo Santo.
So heavy scents, heavy smells is something that I believe spirits don't like to linger around. Palo Santo, sage, stuff like that, in my opinion, is pretty heavy burning smell. I really think any natural smell, like sandalwood or hell, just burning wood, does the same thing. It gives off the same energy. It's just the same thing. Just it's all behind the intent behind it too. Again, yeah. See, something like that is a spirit box app that kind of like the Necrophonic app, except it's scanning a live radio frequencies at a fast rate, so that you can pick up spirits and you'll hear them break through. It'll come over like a second. You'll ask something and it'll give a relevant answer sometimes. Yeah, it's that one's wishy-washy in my opinion because it can be interfered with. But
I actually have this one in storage, and unless you're used to working with this type of spirit box, it's kind of hard to understand because it literally just goes through all the different stations, right? that it picks up on. It literally goes through all different stations at a certain speed. So unless you're familiar with experience with how to actually not read, but like listen for certain things, I find it harder with the spirit boxes like this than with the actual apps. But that's me.
I mean, yeah, and it's because you got to have a good set of ears too.
Yeah, it's good to have like earbuds or headphones with it, but for me, I don't know, it's just because it cycles through radio stations like at
Well,
whatever speed that you want, right?
actually, for that, I would recommend using an Estes method more so, because again, it involves sensory deprivation, so your hearing is more heightened.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it's more random words. Well, see, this is my problem with necrophonic. I don't know how random the words are, but I do trust it because Steve Huff helped produce it, so I do trust it. But I just feel like it can be interfered with a lot easier than some things.
You feel like what can be interfered with the app?
No, this one.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, radio wave. You just click a radio and near it. It can slow it down. I mean, things can affect it outside, I think, more so. I think apps are better. But
I mean, I definitely feel apps are better as well.
But if you're doing the Estes method, I really recommend this style over the app, in my opinion, because you're using the sensory deprivation. I would be interested to use that while doing the Estes method.
Yeah, I think they would both do, but you might have better luck if you went this way with
I
this.
think you would. And then again, it's all up to interpretation and what happens in the. I haven't used one, so in that situation, I don't know. But I think it would work better, in my opinion, for Estes.
Cool. Let me see what else. Oh my God! Did you see? Okay, have you heard of the Boo? But I know you've heard of the Boo Buddy, right?
Oh, the Boo Buddy. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got to
Love
do. Okay, we got to talk about the Boo Buddy. So let me get a picture up first of the Boo Buddy. I've got to show the Boo Buddy.
Does anyone know the Boo Buddy?
Yeah, ask them if they've heard of the Boo Buddy.
Put a 1 in chat if you've seen or heard of the Boo Buddy. So far, nothing. But yeah, so the Boo Buddy kind of detects motion and temperature and EVP. It has it all kind of wrapped in one, and it'll say certain phrases. Yes, the Boo Buddy. I prefer the brown one.
Okay, not only that, but these work really well with children spirits, especially because of the light, all the different lights, and what child spirit doesn't like stuffed animals, right? So this would work really well for child spirits, in my opinion, because I've seen them use it and it works better with children spirits.
But not to say any spirit can't manipulate.
Right, exactly. But it just works better with the younger spirits.
Like, there are certain devices out there that children are more inclined to use. So like a ball, a toy, like that cat ball I was talking about earlier, the batting cat ball that, with motion sensors. Kids like that stuff, pushing a ball. I've seen a ball get pushed in person. It was creepy, but it was cool. Could have been a draft. It's been a long time, but I doubt it.
I mean, I watched one of these shows where they actually brought in the Boo Buddy to help with one of the spirits communicate, because it wasn't communicating with any of the other tools. But then when they brought the Boo Buddy in, because it was just like, stuffed animal toys, the more attracted to toys and things like that, they were able to communicate better and make a communication with the child spirit through the Boo Buddy.
Yes. I do agree that it does bring out the children easier. It's something less complicated, I would assume, but it's temperature based. I don't know. I don't know the hardware that goes into the Boo Buddy myself. I'd have to look into that.
And I will say, these things are not cheap.
No, God.
These things right here, like, you have to be serious about your business. You've got to be serious about ghost hunting, like 2,000%, because these things require investments. All these things require investments.
Oh yeah, like ITC equipment it's not cheap stuff, but hey, that EMF reader you can get at Home Depot.
Okay, so what the Boo Buddy does, the features of the Boo Buddy is it detects EMF and responds with lights, detects temperature and responds with a voice, detects movement and responds with a voice, detects vibration and responds with a voice, responds to changes in friendly voice. Boo Buddy talks in general, asks EVP questions and interacts, comes with, they all come with a hard case. It's USB battery charged. It's got a battery charge for over 35 hours. It's loud. So it's pretty much a lot of tools in one. It picks off EMF, temperature, movement, and vibrations, and responds with voice.
I don't know if he's got a cute voice. Try to get Robbie out of here.
I'm gonna actually look that up now and see if they have Boo Buddy, the voice of Boo Buddy.
I honestly forget what he says, but it's cute. But he has phrases for certain things happening, like it's cold or something. If the temperature drops.
The price range on a Boo Buddy, you're looking anywhere between like 300 to 350 minimum.
Those are
minimum because it's got 5 things in one. So yeah, I mean, you're paying for what you get though.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, I found a video about Boo Buddy.
Boo Buddy.
Hey guys, this is Paul Bradford with Ghost Stop, and I'm going to introduce you to Boo Buddy, the first interactive ghost hunting bear. Boo Buddy actually takes a theory of trigger objects to a whole new level. It detects changes within the environment and responds to those changes.
I know when temperature changes, and I detect EMF. I can even tell when I've been moved.
Did you hear that voice?
I think that was the voice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the voice of the Boo Bear. You can't tell me that's not going to draw in a kid. Okay, you can't tell me that's not going to draw in a kid.
It would, but I don't think that's. I mean, cause I don't remember it ever saying sentences that long.
That tickles.
When you first turn Boo Buddy on, it actually begins a baseline reading of the environment. It's measuring current EMF, temperature, as well as its own orientation. Now, after 30 seconds, Boo Buddy will then introduce itself and then begin investigating with you.
Hi, I'm Boo Buddy. What's your name?
Boo Buddy is actually powered by 3 AA batteries. Now, you can install those batteries in his backpack right here.
Oh, look at
Simply
that. He's
unzip
got
the
a
backpack and you'll find the battery case. Take that off, install
The Boo
the
Bag.
batteries. What you will notice is the on-off switch is actually part of the battery pack. So when you place the battery pack back in the backpack, just be mindful of where you've put the switch. Does it Boo Buddy back up? Now, when you turn Boo Buddy on, you'll hear a beep, and there'll be a green light in Boo Buddy's tummy. Now, Boo Buddy's paws will also be flashing. Now, this is actually an indication that the baseline is being taken. After 30 seconds, Boo Buddy will introduce itself as well as begin the investigation. Now, Boo Buddy will continue to investigate by asking random EVP questions in order to solicit a positive response, unless, of course, there's some sort of change in the environment, and then it will respond accordingly. When BooBuddy detects an EMF signature, it'll actually light up one pore. Now, if that signature becomes stronger, it'll light up two. If BooBuddy detects a change in the temperature, whether it's an increase or decrease, it'll actually respond to that change verbally.
Ooh, it's cold in here.
BooBuddy will also respond verbally if it detects motion, vibration, or a change in its own orientation.
The future of paranormal investigating is here. And BooBuddy is ready to
That
get to
thing
work
is
with you.
sweet.
Come on, let's go investigate.
I know, I want one so
Let's
bad.
go.
For more information on BooBuddy, check out BooBuddy.com. And for more information on other ghost hunting equipment, check out GhostStop.com.
They do, like the equipment nowadays has gotten so much better.
I definitely want a BooBuddy. Definitely want a BooBuddy.
You're gonna have to invest in a BooBuddy.
Yep, we're gonna have to. I have to say, I think that would be the most. I think that would be the best thing to get for your money's worth. I think that's the best long-term investment, in my opinion, because it, like I said, there's 5 different functions that it does that you would be paying for, separately for each separate.
I could agree.
Tool that you get.
I could agree. I mean, yeah, because it's more user friendly too. Like you could go buy one, anyone can go buy one and use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like seems like really beginner user friendly too. Like if you're not, because it's like I said, that's so cool. It's got all of the things in one.
And it tells you.
And it tells you exactly. You don't have to look at the device and be like, what does this say? It's just really cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to get Trisha one for Christmas. 2. Got to get one for both.
That's right. Got to get 2 investments.
How can I not have one?
Right? You got to have one.
No. But yeah. So I mean, there's tons of devices out there. It just is a matter of which one is right for you.
That's all that I had. But did you have anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. If anyone had any questions
Questions, open floor.
about spiritual stuff,
Yep, anything about spiritual stuff, spirits, whatever. Open floor for questions.
but other than that, I mean, this was fun. I mean, spirits are interesting. It's just something we all got to vibe with, and you'll understand more. I would love to have some people question me about people that are past or whatnot, and see if I can get it, because apparently I did, but I like I said, I still digress. I don't think I did. But
You did though. You got to go back and watch it yourself. You did. Mhm.
But anyway, that's about it for me. I'm gonna go get me some dinner. It's dinner time over
I say
here.
it's about dinner time for you.
Yep. But I want to thank everybody for coming in and hanging out with us. We're going to do some more stuff soon. So hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Oh, and since we don't have a community tab on this yet, either on Saul's community post or mine, I will put up a poll of what our next discussion topic could be. How does that sound?
Yeah, we'll do it on hers.
Do a poll. Okay, we'll do a poll on what our next discussion topic is going to be. That way our audience can decide what we talk about.
Yep. All right. Love you all.
Love you guys. Thanks for coming out and support. Every little view, every little chatters. I mean, that helps us, keep our channel in the direction that we want it to go. So thank you so much for showing up and supporting us.
Love you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.